There, scary story fanatics. Welcome back to Cleaving Thought from Bone with your host, Sociopathic. Tonight, we're back on the ball with something brand new, something you may not have thought of until after we're done with this story. So, sit back, relax, and grab a drink, and get ready for a little story that I like to call Ambrosia Beyond Gods. How many of you know what a psychonaut is? I'm sure some of you are aware, but psychonauts are explorers of the mind, the last true great unknown, and tend to probe such metacognitive reaches via psychoactive substances. The most popular of these substances among this group is typically psychedelics. I have studied the human mind and brain in detail, which are two separate concepts, by the way. I have degrees in both psychology and sociology, accreditations in human development, biology, anatomy, and even medical terminology. This sounds ridiculous, but I enjoy learning and exploring so much that in my free time, I dabble in quantum studies, particle physics, theology, and anthropology as well. Although, that's only when I'm not seeking mental thrills and enlightenment through the use of various substances. Personally, I prefer LSD. I tried DMT once, and it was awesome, but it's pretty rare to come across where I live, and I haven't had the chance since. Of course, I seek out the company of like-minded individuals, even if it's online. And although I belong to many online groups associated with this topic, a few are pretty obscure and private. I happen to be online chatting in one of these such groups, discussing the various types of substances that I've tried, thoughts pertaining to my education, and some of my more recent experiences. It was a user named CosmoPirate867 that first introduced me to the drink. I'd never talked to him before, and I'd never seen him in the group since, but he must have been reading our discussion, because he private messaged me, asking if I'd be willing to try a new kind of psychedelic. Of course, I wanted to know more first, so I asked him for more information. What he told me was a bit unbelievable. He told me he had a drink recipe made from only various types of alcohol with no other psychoactive substances added, and if combined correctly, would provide an effect similar to either LSD or DMT, depending on the amount consumed. This was obviously a hoax, and could not hold any water of truth. So, I asked him to send me a recipe list, out of pure curiosity, and soon after, I received a link to a document. Scanning over the text, I saw nothing that would indicate that any of these ingredients would produce psychedelic effects. 1 part chilled 100 proof spiced rum, 1 part absinthe at room temperature, 1 part hot 80 proof whiskey brought to exactly 113 degrees Fahrenheit, 1 part 80 proof vodka, and 1 part 97 proof gin, also both room temperature. Each spirit in equal parts, added and mixed in this specific order. Once complete, set the entire concoction to chill for exactly 24 hours. Afterwards, it's safe to store at room temperature. And the contents must only be consumed under the light of a full moon. Otherwise, it simply won't work, except in making you very drunk. I honestly just thought this to be ridiculous, but a fun sort of thing to pursue. So, after I got paid from my job, I bought all the ingredients and took them home, following the instructions to the letter. However, there were other instructions as well that I also decided it would be best to adhere to. Apparently, the amount you consume will also alter the effect and therefore open differing levels of spiritual knowledge. A single shot will award one with short-term clairvoyance. It is important to note that visions of future events at this level are subject to change. This will pair nicely with studying for an upcoming test, seeking a relationship, or making an important and possibly life-changing decision. Most who only consume at this level typically report few, if any, side effects. As with anything, moderation and limited approach tend to work best for the longevity of well-being. But if you're listening to this, I'm guessing you're not one of these people. Now, 2 shots, ounces, or healthy sips will help to relieve all inhibition. This might seem perfectly intuitive, as this is the main side effect of alcohol itself, but this drink takes it a bit further. Have a smoking habit? Afraid of heights? Pining for lost love? Well, these two are symptomatic byproducts of inhibition. It's the grasping, the clinging to concepts, and emotions that keep one trapped within these destructive cycles. And although this approach may be extremely useful in kicking bad habits and making new personal discoveries and finding growth, I recommend only making enough for 2 shots at a time. The reason is, once you have achieved this level of disconnection, you are exponentially more likely to cast off reservation and imbibe a 3rd shot. Shot 3. Space. Not as in cosmological space, planets and stars. Yes, it's that too, but more encompassing than that. With a 3rd drink, your mind, your true mind, starts to be cast free of the inhibitions of mortal form. You'll be able to travel great distances, penetrate solid barriers, and observe things unfettered, learning things most would agree you should not know. This level has been used by various government organizations, mostly America's CIA, branches of MI6, and generally all other factions of the global shadow government. Don't know who they are? Well, this drink can help you see these organizations and their goings-on behind closed doors. At first, you may have trouble with choosing where to go, what it is that you see. But with practice, a modicum of control can be achieved. However, I implore you to keep your intrigue and interest to broader observations, or even just more personal ones. Remember how I said this concoction has been used by the shadow government and its agencies across the globe? Well, they haven't stopped using it. And while in this state, you'll be able to perceive and interact with others also in this state. They wouldn't appear as human per se. In fact, how they appear changes from person to person and from moment to moment. That being the case, make no mistake, other entities will always simply seem very out of place. Your intuition screaming at you that someone or something else is present, watching you. This means those shadow agents sworn to protect their knowledge and power, they'll sense you. They will find you. They've practically made livings out of it, and they've become very good at it. Do not linger here. Whether this plane of existence should belong to everyone or not, The fact remains, it's already been settled and the flag planted. However, I also do not recommend that you move on to a fourth drink either. Shot 4. The next stage of psychonautic experience. If shot 3 is someplace you do not want to linger, shot 4 is someplace you never even want to visit. Most who have pushed it this far do come back relatively unharmed by the experience, mostly. But even most of those unharmed are irrevocably changed, their perspective on existence forever altered. And those people who have ventured this far, I've never heard of them doing it again. Apparently, if you're willing to risk exploring the deepest fathoms of consciousness, you're never willing to revisit it afterward. See, shot 3 will take you beyond the limits of space. Shot 4, beyond time itself. And this makes sense, as space and time are woven from the same fabric, imprinted upon the same garment. This psychoactive state is nearly impossible to describe in three-dimensional terms with three-dimensional words. Like seeing math as one true expression that encompasses all sequences, as this place exists outside of sequence. Existence here, including you, is fractile, and the most mundane components of everyday existence, to the most profound, the most insightful, to the forces governing gravity and stars in the cosmos. Everything is part of the same fractile nature that is existence beyond time. If I'm losing you a bit here, that's okay. Such concepts are, again, almost impossible to explain in words, connected through sequences bound by space and time. But if you were to see the true nature of the universe, and the single governing force behind it all, one should expect that experience to be difficult to explain, to say the least. I won't explain much further here. To be honest, if you want to know what it is I'm talking about, try it for yourself. Shake tentacles with the unified force of the cosmos on your own terms. That will convey description a lot better than I can. But like I said, be warned, you'll never be the same again. And if you don't want to know, that's fine too. Not many, but a few do come back from this experience changed in negative ways, unable to establish meaningful connections, depression, psychological fugue, and a host of other social, behavioral, and psychological disorders. Some humans are just not equipped with minds that are capable of understanding and processing the true nature of what we call life and what we call death. And that's okay. Everyone has a journey, and some of us just have a little further to go than others. And this leads me to shot 5. And I'm only adding this as a warning. Do not take more than 4 consecutive drinks of this stuff. A very, very few have either been brave enough or stupid enough, and it just depends on how you label it, to try this. And let me explain this clearly. Not one of them has ever returned. Well, sane. In fact, most don't even return whole, like physically. Parts of their bodies have gone missing, seemingly cut from their form with surgical precision. No blood loss, but meat and bone exposed. Sense of sight or touch reduced, or even gone altogether. And it would surely have bothered them all if they were aware enough to know that something was terribly wrong and horrible happened to them. Instead, both blissfulness and ignorance have left them in every case, and only pain and madness left remaining. And if you're thinking about going this far, I implore you not to. Once you see, once you learn the truth, it can never be scrubbed by your mind. As for me, well, I wrote this for you, to provide a path of true exploration, to leave a trail of records and intrigue, but also as a final message. Tonight is a full moon, and I have 5 shot glasses filled and ready to go. Because unlike some, the fear of death and madness has never been enough to stop me from seeking out the wonders hidden in the unknown. I am a psychonaut after all. I have included all of this here to provide a sense of parameter, limitation, and awareness as to what you would be diving into. I know that I will likely never return the same, and you might never hear from me again. So, this leaves only one question. How far are you willing to go to learn the ultimate truths of the nightmares beyond all things? Well, that just goes to show you, while some of us are thirsty for the truth, others are gagging on it. But I certainly hope you don't end up choked out and are able to return here again next weekend for more gore galore. And until then, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so I can catch you all again next Saturday. Social media can be very unpredictable, especially regarding horror content. If this content gets removed, all new content will be simultaneously presented on various websites provided in the description to this video. Make sure to follow me in other digital spaces so that you never miss out on the terror. Also, if you like this video, make sure to leave a comment and hit the like button. It helps the channel a lot. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy what's here, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you never miss an upload. Writing is a dream of mine, and it's all of you that make that dream come true.